Okay, so maybe you bought the best selling book of all time and even took time to read through most of it or just part of it. Or maybe you watched some videos about it or just accepted what you have been told about it. Hey, you might even have bought the t shirt. The book, of course, that I'm referring to is what has been termed by most people as the Bible. But how much do we really understand about it? To even begin to understand this vast topic and endeavor, it is important to put certain things in perspective. As scientists have finally come to the conclusion that there must have been an intelligent designer who began creation, God, and that from the trillions of galaxies that he created, he chose just one. And from the billions of planets in that galaxy, God chose just one. And from the billions of people living on that little planet, God again chose just one small nation, the children of Israel, who are known today as the Jewish people, who have maintained and have guarded this sacred divine knowledge. Now, this knowledge was taught to them, to us, directly from God through his greatest prophet who ever lived, Moses, or as we call him, Moshe, by his true Hebrew name. God imparted to him, to Moshe, knowledge of every aspect of this physical reality as well as the spiritual worlds, and how they are all intertwined and thus all connected. He gave to the Jewish people, the children of Israel, his commandments, and these are divided into two categories, general categories: the positive commandments of doing, action, and the negative commandments that require abstaining. All these commandments are further subdivided into categories of commandments that we can comprehend and also the commandments that defy human understanding. In essence, God gave to the children of Israel the complete package. Now, why did God do all of this? The answer is actually simple: so that mankind can have a true loving connection to him and make this physical world a dwelling place that will manifest his presence and also truly be experienced and felt. Now, you may be wondering, is this reality? Is this really true that God indeed chose just this one small nation, the smallest in the entire world, to be his holy people and impart all of this knowledge to? The answer is yes. We see this to be true from the Torah itself, as it is recorded in the scripture in Devarim, in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verses 6 through 7. It's written over there, "For you are a holy people, holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the people of the face of the earth to be his people, his treasured possession. The Lord did not set his affection on you and choose you because you are more numerous than the other nations, for you are the fewest of all the nations." Now, I want to ask a very serious question. Do you have any idea how concentrated and how potent this sacred divine knowledge is? Let's draw a simple comparison based on our own DNA, for instance. If you stretched the DNA in one cell all the way out, it would be about 2 meters long. That's just about the equivalent of 6.5 feet. Putting this even more in perspective, if you put the entire DNA of all of your cells together, just one person, it would be about twice the diameter of the solar system. And again, that's just one person. When you consider that there are well over 70,000 Hebrew books that have been written and preserved throughout the ages, even more than that, all based on the knowledge and implementation of God's commandments from just the Holy Torah, you will begin to get a glimpse of how concentrated this knowledge is. In regards to potency, look what happens when we split apart just one single atom. How much more so are all these things in regard to the Torah, which contains the blueprint of all creation plus even more. If people really understood how powerful and important all this knowledge really is, most people would bother with it. They would abstain from it directly, or they would leave it up to the experts in the field. Be honest with yourself. Would you like to be in the vicinity of a nuclear plant? What if you had the right garb? Would you start handling and mixing chemicals if they were left out? The answer obviously is no. You know, if you did so, you can truly kill yourself, as well as many others, people in the state, people in the country, and people in the world. What about if you were in a huge professor's chemistry lab? Let's just take it down a notch. Picture the image. You look around, you see so many apparatuses and chemicals that you have not the slightest idea of what they are. Maybe you know about 3% of what they are, if you're lucky. Would you start mixing them, combine them, heating them together and see what you'll get? Of course not. Not unless you are a chemist or you have at least been trained to some extent in the knowledge of chemistry. You know very well that otherwise you could cause an explosion, burn yourself severely, or just something creative and just some compound where the vapors alone could kill you. How many would even think of taking and drinking this compound mixture and bring it to your lips? I don't think so. Now understand that all this is only related to killing or maiming or hurting your physical being. By playing with the sacred knowledge of the Torah that is more potent than anything else. Would you do this? This could not only just kill people on the physical level, but also spiritually. This is exactly, unfortunately, what has occurred throughout our history, including even up to our present day. This is why so many other videos that are out there on the web that want to know what God's intended purpose is for people put on the information, they put it out there, and they try to make it palatable for people to drink, to ingest. Unfortunately, a lot of this is poison for the soul. That's a fact. Let's get to the heart of the matter right now, though. What is Hashem's intended purpose? It's an easy answer. It's to make this world a fitting dwelling place for His presence, in order to have a personal relationship with us all. Sounds easy. Great. Okay, so how do we get there then? The answer to this is for the children of Israel, the Jewish people, to be the example. We are to be the embodiment of a holy nation where the presence of God walks amongst them and shines forth for all to see and feel. And this will indeed happen. This will cause, by doing this, the sanctification of God's holy name in the eyes of all the people in the world. All the nations would thus proclaim, as it is written in the book of Samuel 2, or as we say Shmuel, Bet, in chapter 7, verse 23. Also what is written in the book of Chronicles, Divrei Hayamim, in chapter, I believe that's Chronicles number 1, chapter 17, verse 21. It is written there, and who is like your people Israel, the one nation on earth that God went out to redeem as a people for Himself and make a name for Himself, and to perform great and awesome wonders by driving out nations and their gods from before your people, who you redeemed from Egypt. The people from all the nations will then naturally want to draw close to God and know His ways and also have a true relationship with Him. This is what God wants. This is what He always wanted. This is why He proclaimed God even right before he gave the children of Israel the Ten Commandments, as it is written in the book of Exodus, we say Shmot, in chapter 19, verse 6. You will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites. Now, unfortunately, we, the Jewish people, have not done our job in this proper sense yet. But we are assured by God that we will fulfill our chosen role in the future. Concerning this, it is written in the book of Isaiah, Yeshayahu, in chapter 61, verse 6. It's written there, you will be called priests of the Lord, and you will be named ministers of our God. Now let's understand better the terminology. What does it mean by kingdom of priests? Or as we say in Hebrew, Mamlechet Kohanim. But even before this, let's first understand the definition of priest or Kohen. According to the Torah, all Kohanim are descended from just one man, Aaron, the brother of Moshe or Moses. Further, while any human can convert to Judaism, no one can convert to become a Kohen. The special role of the Kohen is to serve in the temple, or the Beit HaMikdash, as a representative of the entire Jewish people, the children of Israel. The effect of the Kohanim is to bond the Jewish people and the world as a whole to God through their special services as decreed by God to have been done. The Kohanim, both in the times of the temple as well as today, also have special power of bracha, of blessing. In order to be able to carry out their spiritual task, the Kohen is bound by special laws which do not apply to anyone else. Now we are ready to understand what is meant by the children of Israel being a kingdom of priests, Mamlechet Kohanim. We have, the Jewish people, a special relationship with God, with a special covenant, Brit in Hebrew, which includes laws which relate specifically to the Jewish people and no one else. God tells us that because of this relationship with these special laws that we call mitzvot in Hebrew, we will become a kingdom of priests. This closest to God, being like a priest, or even like a high priest for that matter, that the Jewish people can attain and thus have, it imparts also to the power and responsibility to make this world into a dwelling for God, a dwelling for His divinity, a realm where holiness can fully be expressed. This means teaching, guiding, having an effect not only on Jews, but also on non-Jews, just as the Kohanim and their bond was to the Jewish people, and they used this to bond the Jewish people to God, so too are the Jews. As Kohanim, as the kingdom of priests, our job is to bond the whole world, everybody, to God. This sense of responsibility is also true, and is the true meaning of the closeness of the Jewish person. Each one of us was chosen at the giving of the Torah, described in that section of Exodus. The sages teach us that all the Jewish souls which would ever be born were present at that time, including all future converts to Judaism. Each Jewish person, thus, is chosen to keep and to transmit God's teachings, the 613 mitzvot, commandments for the Jewish people, and the 7 Noahide laws, the laws of Noah, for the nations of the world. The responsibility for each Jew is the goal to change the world for good, tov, in one's own life and also surroundings, but also those around them that will ultimately cause the chain effect which will affect all existence, bringing the redemption for the Jewish people and all of humanity.